News9 and you are watching On Point. Today we have two On Points. The first On Point is about the opposition versus Election Commission showdown over alleged vote theft charge. The second On Point is on General Munir's empty threat against India from US soil. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Karnataka Cooperation Minister K. N. Rajanna resigns after his remarks questioning Rahul Gandhi's vote theft charge in Karnataka. Mob vandalizes tomb in Fatehpur, communal tension rise in Uttar Pradesh town. Ukraine President Zelensky speaks to Prime Minister Modi, briefs PM on Russia conflict. SC orders all stray dogs in Delhi NCR to be moved to shelters to be kept away from public spaces. "15-month-old brutally assaulted in Noida crash by minor caretaker, accused caretaker arrested." Elephant charges tourist in Bandipur after risky close-up stunt. Supreme Court confirms Meda Patkar's conviction in criminal defamation case by Delhi LG Saxena. Kapil Sharma's security increased in Mumbai after attack on Canada Cafe. Trump yet to decide on tariffs over China's Russian oil purchase, says Jerry Vance. The showdown between opposition parties and election commission over alleged vote theft and SIR played out on the streets of the national capital. Dramatic scenes were witnessed as police detained MPs from the India Bloc marching towards Nirvachan Sadan. Women MPs led by Mahua Moitra and other women leaders tried to jump over barricades, followed by Samajwadi Party MP Akhilesh Yadav. Police detained Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Manoj Jha, Sanjay Raut and many other politicians.
देखिए, हिंदुस्तान की डेमोक्रेसी की हालत देखिए। 300 एमपीज इलेक्शन कमीशन से मिलना चाहते हैं और कहते हैं कि हम डेलीगेशन लेके आएंगे, हम आपको एक डॉक्यूमेंट देना चाहते हैं। इलेक्शन कमीशन कहता है नहीं, 300 एमपीज नहीं आ सकते हैं। तो यही हालत है, क्योंकि डरते हैं। 300 एमपीज आ गए और वहाँ पे सच्चाई निकल आई और हमने उनको थोड़ा जो उनके काम की सच्चाई है दिखा दी। दैट इज वाई अब ये राजनीतिक लड़ाई से आगे निकल गई है। ठीक है, अब ये देश की जो आत्मा है, स्पिरिचुअल देश का जो आत्मा है, उसके लिए लड़ाई हो रही है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की लड़ाई है। 1 मैन 1 वोट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का फाउंडेशन है। 1 मैन 1 वोट के बिना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का कोई मतलब नहीं है। और हमने क्लियरली दिखाया है कर्नाटक में कि 1 मैन 1 वोट नहीं है।
On the other hand, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju slammed opposition leaders over the vote theft issue. Rijiju said opposition was just interested in getting into headlines. He said EC had called 30 members of opposition for a meeting, but they did not go. And he said, how would you expect 300 people to be inside when appointments were given for a delegation of 30?
इलेक्शन कमीशन में जाने के लिए समय खुद मांगा और इलेक्शन कमीशन ने ये इंडी गठबंधन को बोला कि हर पार्टी से 2-2 सदस्य को भेज दो। 30 सदस्य को बुलाया, फिर जाता नहीं है। वो उनके गठबंधन में, इंडी गठबंधन में वो तय नहीं कर पाया कि वो 30 लोग कौन कौन जाएंगे। जब वो अपना नेता तय नहीं कर पाते हैं, प्रतिनिधि तय नहीं कर पाते हैं, फिर इलेक्शन कमीशन से टाइम मांगा क्यों है? अब वो खरगे जी बोल रहे हैं कि सारा ऑपोजिशन मेंबर जो वीआईपी है, तो 150 लोग क्या इलेक्शन कमीशन का चेयरमैन कमिश्नर का रूम में है, 150 लोग घुसेंगे क्या? ये कैसे बातें करते हैं? बोलते कि सबको जाना है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने इतने अच्छे तरीके से 30 लोगों को बुलाया, प्रतिनिधि बात करेंगे। अब ये कांग्रेस वाले, ये इंडी गठबंधन को सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भरोसा नहीं है और कहते कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट टिप्पणी नहीं कर सकते इनके ऊपर में। इलेक्शन कमीशन में भरोसा नहीं है, इलेक्शन कमीशन को अटैक करते हैं, पार्लियामेंट को विश्वास नहीं करते हैं।
कांग्रेस पार्टी की दिशाहीनता की और उनकी ये दुविधा बन चुकी है। एसआईआर, चुनाव आयोग, चुनाव की प्रक्रिया आज एक दुनिया में सिद्ध व्यवस्था बन चुकी है। एसआईआर पहली बार नहीं हो रहा है। एक वैचारिक दिशाहीनता की और दुविधा की समूह कांग्रेस पार्टी और उसकी नेता राहुल गांधी बन चुके हैं। लोकतंत्र में उनकी कोई लोकलाज बची नहीं। अराजकता धीरे धीरे अहंकार के साथ मिलते हुए देश में एक अस्थिरता पैदा करने की एक सोची समझी रणनीति ये है।
Wayanad MP Priyanka Gandhi alleged that the government was afraid of the truth about the vote theft. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor said Rahul Gandhi had raised some serious questions and it is the EC's responsibility to clear the doubts in the minds of the people.
हम गिरफ्तारी ले पिकनिक में थोड़ी जा रहे हैं, डरे हुए हैं, कायर हैं, सरकार कायर है।
कम से कम चुनाव आयोग उन पे कार्रवाई करे जिन लोगों ने वोट काटे हैं। मैंने खुद 18,000 जो डिलीटेड वोट थे उनको मैंने दिया है। जो 18,000 डिलीटेड वोट थे उसकी सूची दी। चुनाव आयोग ने एफिडेविट मांगा, हमने एफिडेविट दिया, लेकिन उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार ने मिलकर के चुनाव आयोग को गुमराह किया। चुनाव आयोग गुमराह हुआ और किसी पे कार्रवाई नहीं हुई।
Rahul ji has raised some serious questions. They deserve serious answers. The Election Commission, I believe, not only has a responsibility to the nation, but it has a responsibility to itself. That there should not be any doubts left in the minds of the public about this entire credibility of our elections. The elections matter to the whole country. And our democracy is too precious to be jeopardized by doubts about whether there is duplicate voting, whether there are multiple addresses, whether there are fake votes. All of this, and manipulation is the worst case scenario.
The matter is also in the Supreme Court of India. So let's see how this entire issue is spanning out. One is the issue of ADR's charge, which is in the court, which said that the list of excluded names should be made public. There should be disclosure why names have not been removed. The charge was the political parties do not have full access to the draft list. And fourth, draft roll in Bihar has been done without transparency. So that was the matter which went to the Supreme Court of India. Now, EC in the affidavit said, EC not legally bound to disclose omitted names. 1. Law requires only publication of draft roll. 2. Non-inclusion in draft roll not same as deletion from electoral roll. EC said that ADR's demand is legally unfounded. 5th, individuals left out of the draft rule have statutory route to follow, which means that there are procedures and law in place for individuals for redressal. 6th, EC said that the contempt proceeding should be initiated against NGO for misleading the court. So it's not as if the matter stays resolved. EC has filed a very powerful affidavit here. Now, last week, Rahul Gandhi had alleged that more than 1 lakh votes were stolen in Karnataka's Mahadevpura assembly segment. Days after Rahul Gandhi's alleged election rigging in Karnataka, BJP leveled charges of voter fraud against him in Congress bastions of Rai Bareli in Uttar Pradesh. So, what was the charge? Rahul's Rai Bareli constituency has multiple voters with house number 0. Dozens of voters are registered at the same address. In Rai Bareli's assembly voter list, one address has 27 names. and 2 addresses have 18 voters each. Basically, the entire charge was that whatever he said in context of Karnataka is something, the anomalies can be found in each and every constituency. So the big questions I am raising today, before I introduce my guests, are: should EC investigate the charge made by Rahul Gandhi? 1. Why is Rahul Gandhi not signing the affidavit? 2. These are the principal issues on which I will discuss. Third, is it a deadlock between EC and the opposition? The question on which I will start the debate. On this, I am joined by Siddharth Yadav, spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party, Sulaiman Mohammad Khan, spokesperson Congress, Dr. Anil Verma, Director, Center for Study of Society and Politics, Ajit Jha, senior journalist, psephologist, and Savio Rodriguez, political analyst. Let me take opening comments from Siddharth Yadav and Sulaiman Mohammad Khan. Siddharth, to you, a lot of ruckus, a lot of traction has been gained by opposition party on this issue. Siddharth.
I think this is not the right way of putting it, because I don't think that a lot of traction is being gained in this issue. Rather, a lot of disappointment that has been attracted by the opposition. The country, works on some principles, on some rules, and the opposition should also come up with a solution-oriented approach. We should come up with, ways wherein they actually seek answers to some questions. What happened today on the streets of Delhi was totally, unwarranted. The Election Commission is inviting you, not just 1 or 2, 30 of the MPs from the opposition, which could have represented all parties. All parties could have come together and represented whatever issues they had. Rather, the opposition chose to take it to the streets, not go and meet the Election Commission, which is surprising, because if you have issues with the Election Commission, then the minimum that one would do is meet the Election Commission to raise such issues. And they said that we will only meet if 300 MPs are invited by the Election Commission. Now, this is just absurd. When you do an India Alliance meeting, you don't call 300 MPs. You do it with 30 leaders. Now, you want to meet the Election Commission, you want 300 MPs to go. So, here or there, you want that no solution should be arrived at. You don't want any answers should be given. If Rahul Gandhi believes to what he's claiming and what he's alleging on the Election Commission, forget the rules of the Constitution which mandate him to come on oath. It is a citizen's call that why would one leader would not want to come on oath?
So that you made one point.
Once you don't want to do that, it itself raises questions that there's something very wrong with these allegations of the Congress party.
So Siddharth has raised the point in this debate that the 30 people were called, 30 people should have gone. Sulaiman Mohammad Khan, please respond to this. 30 people were called by the EC, 30 leaders could have gone. Sulaiman.
Yeah, that's okay. So, the whole fight and the whole protest march today was against what the vote CHORI has been done by the Election Commission to, put BJP into advantageous position so that BJP can easily win election, and it has won in, very recent past. And that is what we are saying, and our leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, has an whole public display. He has shown how the votes have been manipulated, the voter list has been manipulated. It is for the Election Commission to come out clean on that. That is the point. Secondly, if the opposition wants that a delegation of 300 MPs want to meet them, what is the problem? Isn't the Election Commission can discuss with individual MPs if they have a grievance with this? So.
But where will the meeting be held? You have also been part of multiple delegations. 300 people in a room, Sulaiman. Come on, you know that. How can you have a sort of a constructive?
Forget the delegation now. No, forget the delegation. I am saying why Election Commission wants a representation. We are saying there is a manipulation. We have shown it. You come out clean. Why?
But there are two different things. My question to you was, why not 30? That was my question. आप लोग 30 लोग जाके मिल सकते थे.
I am saying no 30, no 300, all gone. I am saying Election Commission to come clean. And it's not about Rahul Gandhi, it's not about Narendra Modi, it's about no one. It's about the people of the country, every individual. One person, one vote. About the saving of the Constitution. Election Commission, who is the savior of, fair, free and fair election, has hit at the, root of the free and fair election to give benefit to the BJP. In connivance with the BJP, Election Commission has done this.
Sulaiman, a lot of people are also asking why is affidavit not being signed?
Why should we give? Why? Why? For what reason? We have shown it. And there is also a limitation of affidavit to be given in 30 days. Forget that limitation. Even if there is time to give an affidavit, we will not give, and we are not going to give it.
Okay.
Election Commission has to come out clean.
Okay, so you're saying Election Commission has to come out clean. Ajit, my question is very simple. What sort of a response should come from Election Commission? There's an affidavit which has been submitted by EC. It has been reproduced by newspapers. The graphics are running. I don't want to get into the details of it. EC has made it very clear that, they're not bound by law in context of producing the list. If you go by the editorials of newspapers today, a lot of different views have been taken. What is your view? What should be the response of EC in context of this SIR and role revision controversy?
Look, Karthikeya, I believe, I've been covering elections for all my life. I believe that the role of the Election Commission is as an umpire. And umpire has to be fair between both the players, right? Both sides. Now, the problem with the Election Commission is it is using Article 324 as a shield. It goes on every time to the Supreme Court and it says, I am not legally bound. After all, look at the convention in India. Law is not merely as stated. There is a convention. For the first time, 65 lakh voters' names have been deleted in the SIR. Okay, let's assume 20 lakh are dead. What about the rest? When you kind of arbitrarily define within a 25 days period that these voters have permanently shifted, you have to define what that means. These are all workers who presumably have moved away. We don't know. But it is the onus is on the Election Commission to play the umpire. It has to tell the world, it has to tell the Supreme Court, it has to tell the petitioners, it has to tell the public that it is not playing games under Article 324 as its shield. That the Election Commission has to do. It cannot.
Leaders and opposition are also making vague charges. For example, I think day before yesterday, Sharad Pawar spoke about 2 people meeting him in 116 Maharashtra elections. Ideally, he should have declared the names. For the benefit of democracy, he should have declared the names. Kaun do log milne aaye the?
See, these are small issues. There are 25 parties. If the Election Commission only allows 30 MPs, which means one from each party, maybe there.
Okay, I think the line is frozen. Mr. Anil Verma, your opening comments on this?
What exactly is your question?
I was asking you opening comments on this entire SIR debate where the opposition is saying that the process in itself has become discredited, and the EC is saying that when we invite you, you don't come. When we invite 30 people, you said we want to come with 300 people. When we say sign the affidavit and give it to me, you don't sign the affidavit and give it to me. So where is this going?
Karthikeya, yes. From my childhood, we have been hearing about many problems with the electoral rolls, many problems with the election process, many problems with the technologies used by the Election Commission. And let us assume that in such a big country like ours, there are problems in each and every constituency because there are humans and there are human errors. Of course, the onus lies always with the Election Commission, but the fact is that most of the people who are working under the state government, and they are, much of that is also to be borne by the state governments. So that's a collective exercise, big collective exercise. Now, the one thing which is very important in this entire issue is the review that is being taken, intensive review that is being taken, that the first qualification of an adult franchise is that one has to be a citizen of India. So the Constitution says that one has to be a citizen of India to vote. Rest everybody knows. Now the question is that this has to be, who will verify that a person is a citizen of India? Of course, the Supreme Court will not come. There are no other mechanism. When the voter list is being formed, obviously there has to be some institution which has to ensure that only the citizens of India are included. That is one thing. And two, my opening comment, as you said, is that there are differences of opinion in democracy, and that is well taken. But the issue is that everything has to be either talked about in a cool manner or demonstrated on a street. So if we are a student and doing student union elections and making halla gulla, that is the kind of thing that we have been watching from our school days. But if we are a democratic country and if we are a serious national parties, and obviously I believe that all the political parties are very serious and very good. So why can't there be a dialogue? And this 330 is a bogus, issue. Obviously, we all know that there are so many people in the parliament and what happens over there. Naturally, a serious dialogue requires a limited number of people where issues can be raised rationally. We cannot fight out on the streets political issues. Political issues, they have to be settled within the parliament. That is the prerogative of our constitution, which every party very beautifully understands. So either the political parties are not interested in that kind of a serious debate inside the parliament, which is spending 2 crore rupees per hour, or they are more interested in a street-like demonstration and catching the eye of the camera. So our political parties, they have to understand that serious democracy requires that the issues raised by Rahul Gandhi are very genuine and it has to be amicably settled. Nobody can say who is right and who is wrong unless there is a proper rational argument, discussion, investigation. You give your facts, I will give my facts, and then let us come out of it, because permanently, if you are a democracy, you cannot linger on these kind of allegations on the election commission, because today one government is in power, tomorrow you will be in power and the ball will reverse then. So if are you visualizing this kind of a democracy that always you are being on election commission is onslaught happening on the election commission? That is not in the interest of democracy, nor in the interest of our political parties, whether they are in the government or in the opposition. So my opening remark is only this, that issues raised by Mr. Rahul Gandhi as leader of the opposition might be genuine, and they are probably genuine, but the way they are trying to settle the issues is not proper.
Okay, Savio, this is not the first time the issues have been raised. I was going through some clips, BJP leaders in 2014, from public platform, they criticized EC, said this is not right, listen to me. So this is not the first time. I would say perhaps EC has been the whipping boy of political parties since last 50 years. Anyone who gets angry says, you're not doing your job correctly. Isn't that, Savio?
Karthikeya, the most saddest aspect of any governmental institution is that no matter which political party is in play, there's always going to be somebody who's going to latch out at the institution, whether it's a CBI, whether it's an ED, whether it's the election commission. But I'll tell you what concerns many average citizens in this particular issue. Let's keep aside the political play that's going on with regards to this issue. But if there are any doubts of voter frauds or voter manipulation or voter, updation that may have not been done correctly, then I think it's only prudent on EC to set aside those fears, which now is getting played up into larger proportions and therefore sending a fear amongst the people across the country that are the electoral processes in India a problem. So I think keeping the politics aside, which is natural that political parties in government and outside of government will play their political games, and rightfully so. But what it does is that people will start losing their faith in the electoral process. They will start losing their faith in the EC. Like many a times, even today, if you were to ask somebody for cases going to go to CBI, they will say we don't believe CBI because CBI has not ever cracked many cases. So, we don't have faith in CBI. You ask them about ED and IT, they say ED and IT are puppets and they're going after people who are opposition leaders. So in much the same way, at some point of time, people will start saying, what's the point of the electoral process? Maybe we should not go and vote because anyway it's getting manipulated. Anyway, the voters, genuine voters are not being able to vote. Or there are voters that are got a voter ID, but there are multiple people on some of those IDs itself. The real danger is when you start demonizing institutions and the processes of those institutions, and that's when we'll face a larger problem. Today, the opposition might have some genuine concerns. The opposition might have some concerns that are played up for their political benefit. But the point is this, at the end of the day, what is the impact on the electoral voter for whom this entire process has been done in the first place? If they lose confidence in the electoral process, And right now, we do have diminishing numbers of people who come out to vote. You might find more diminishing numbers of people to come out to vote. So my request to all the political parties is, if it needs to be investigated by the EC, firstly. Secondly, let not the institution get hammered for the lack of political gravitas between political party, and therefore the target is the election commission, and thereby the larger target being the people itself. So let's work this out. I certainly don't see a problem, with what the BJP gentleman is saying when he says that 30 people should have been gone to the EC. It makes sense. If not 30, 40, if not 40, 50, but you go with 300 people, what is EC going to understand of what the problem is all about? We don't need a mob, or we don't need a crowd to take forth an issue. If you want an issue resolved, then it has to be resolved with the problems at hand, with few speakers raising that issue up. That is where I see the problem is. If we are turning it into a political slugfest, when the real issue is problems in the process within the EC to ensure that voter manipulation does not happen.
Absolutely. Siddhartha, how does government wants to resolve this issue? Because I completely agree with Savio. The larger impact of doubt in people's mind is really unhealthy for the Indian democracy. You can't seed a doubt that the process through which our representatives are elected is faulty. We are not Pakistan.
No, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The process has its own sanctity, and that sanctity must be maintained. And I think it's the responsibility of all political parties, and the onus lies on everybody to maintain that sanctity. There's no doubt about it. How will this get solved? I think it's a tougher question to answer. The problem lies someplace else. The apex court has mentioned it, that the political parties can't make this a habit, that when they win an election, they have no problems. But when they lose one, then they raise all sorts of issues with the election commission. It's not me saying or the BJP saying. The apex court has raised this up. Now we see this pattern wherever similar things happen, but the election outcome is that the Congress party or any party of the opposition is winning an election. There are actually no problems that the opposition would raise in those elections. 22.5 lakh voters were deleted in Telangana. Congress party formed a government in Telangana. There was no problem there. 7.5% voters were added in Wayanad. Rahul Gandhi won in Wayanad. There was no problem there. If you win in Madhya Pradesh, there is no problem. If you win in Rajasthan, no problem. If you win in Himachal, no problem at all. But if you lose and you don't want to take that onus of the loss, you want a scapegoat, you want somebody to blame that loss on. That is the real problem. Now that problem is of the leadership. That problem is, the leadership not having the courage to own up to the losses. And once that happens, they would find anybody. They would find any scapegoat. Earlier we saw issues with EVM.
Yes,
Today there's no issues
this
with
argument.
EVM. Now
This argument of
Suleiman, I'll come to you and he will not disturb you.
No, I know what I'm saying probably can be troubling for my friend from Congress party, but I'll just complete in 15 seconds. Earlier, there were issues with EVM. There were a lot of issues that, they were raised in 2020, 21, 22. Issues also keep on changing. Today, there's some other issue. In Bihar, there's an SIR issue. In Karnataka, it's an issue that SIR was not done. Now, this problem is becoming hilarious, but it's for the Congress party and the leadership of the opposition, amongst the opposition, to solve this out. We are very sure about one thing: the sanctity of our constitutional organizations have to be maintained. This is about our democracy. Everybody has to play a role in it. The opposition also has a very major role to play, but they need to realize their role.
Suleiman, now you speak.
This argument which has been going on, like Congress winning in a state, it has no problem. Losing Congress is a problem. It's not about Congress, BJP, Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, nothing. It's about every Indian. So firstly, Savio has made a point that 30 people could have gone. We were just protesting, taking out a protest march, all 300 MPs going to the Election Commission of India, and there we have to give a representation to the Election Commission. That is it today, what we have to do. But we were stopped halfway and we were told that we all 300 want to go inside and have a meeting. We just want to give a memorandum. But the BJP government did not, they were not able to tolerate. And this cowardly act has been done by them. And we were put into a detention for hours and hours and then left. Because we just want to give the memorandum. Therefore, all MPs of all opposition political parties were going. Secondly, what my friend Siddharth from BJP what he's saying that Congress winning and losing, it's not about Congress party, Siddharth. You may today sitting in your party, sitting in power, tomorrow my party may come into government, anyone. It's about the trust of the people of the country in the election process. What election commission is doing,
I'll just give a quick reply.
We have shown the people of the country, just let me complete. What we have shown to the people of the country, hundreds and hundreds of people are calling me, a lot of people tweeting on the social media. They have very specific doubts about, manipulation in the voter list to benefit your party. And that is the problem. And that is what we are saying. And you don't please defend it. Don't defend the election commission.
No.
You should go and say that if there is something problem, there should be, a proper audit. What is the problem of providing a digital?
But it looks like, Sulaiman, doesn't it look like that, doesn't it look like you're shouting at EC? There is no conversation that is taking place?
No, I am saying, what is the problem of providing digital voter list, which can be machine readable, where a proper audit can be done by each and every one of us, and then it can be shown that there is a duplicacy. Why is Election Commission running away from them? And I don't want, to give this argument that there are rules and there are laws. Everything is made so that people should know and, they should feel that the election was free and fair.
Okay. You are talking about the affidavit submitted by Election Commission to the Supreme Court of India. Okay. To you, Mr. Yadav. Okay. You are talking about that particular affidavit. Mr. Yadav.
Yes. No, first of all, we have not made those rules. The Congress party was in power when all such rules were made. That's point number one. Point number two, when you say that, we were just going there. When you say, please hear me out. When you say that we were just going to give our representation, we were going to just give our memorandum, this itself shows that you don't want a solution. 300 of your MPs are going for a delegation. Have you heard a march going forward with no delegation? Have you heard a march going forward or having no leadership?
Election Commission is standing naked in front of the people of the country. It has to come clean. You don't even need to give a representation. Understood?
Rhetoric now, you don't want to hear me back.
We don't need to give a representation. We don't need to meet the Election Commission.
Sir, have some courtesy. Why are you getting all rowdy? Have some courtesy. Hear me out at least. Hear me out. I was listening when you were speaking. Please be courteous, sir.
You can have your say go. I am saying we don't need to meet the Election Commission. We don't need to give a representation.
Okay. Let him speak. Okay. Siddharth, make your point. Siddharth, make your point. Sulaiman. Let Siddharth.
Of your members are going and you don't have a delegation to go. Now you're sitting on television shows and creating this narrative. Pop your bubble, sir. Pop your bubble and come out of that bubble. You live in a wonderland. Nobody is defending the election commission. I'm defending the democracy of this country. You find it so easy. You come here, sit on television.
Okay. Sulaiman, Siddharth, Sulaiman, one thing. Okay. Ajit, your line got cut off. My question was when EC submitted the affidavit and said that they are not legally bound by law to present the role. What is your opinion on that? They are saying that there are different statutory addressal mechanisms available to people to find why their name has been deleted from the list. It's part of the affidavit.
Look, I still feel, Kartikeya, that the Election Commission is using Article 324 and the 1960 election process as a shield. Because, look, the LOP, the leader of the opposition, to be fair to him, he has not only attacked the EC right now.
But LOP is also not signing the affidavit. You see, I'm giving benefit of doubt to Rahul Gandhi. I have no problem with his press conferences. But dastkhat bhi to nahi kar rahe wo.
First of all, attacked the entire process in which the election commissioner was appointed. He pointed out at that time that earlier Judiciary Chief Justice of India used to be present there. The present government changed the way.
Sir,
it is only the Prime Minister, Home Minister,
I'll come to you.
and the LOP.
I'll come to you.
They passed it. But the point
but he has a genuine question. Ajit. Ajit, you have to answer that. Siddharth is saying, okay, Siddharth, ask your question. Siddharth is saying, when was this done?
I just have a quick question. When was it in a Congress government that there was present in the appointment of the election commissioner? You tell me
There
one
was.
year, one PM.
Ajit,
They were present in the last 3 or 4. I can actually find out and give you the details. But each election
No, sir,
commissioner
you are
who
wrong.
were appointed
Sir,
in
you
the
are
past.
wrong. As an interim measure, the Supreme Court came up and said that until you make a law of how the Chief Election Commissioner has to be appointed, the CGI will be part of that committee until you make it. The Chief Election Commissioners were made by the PMO all the time. Entire history of our country. Now it includes the leader of the opposition. Never it has happened that the Chief Election Commissioner was appointed by a CGI.
Okay.
You do all false rhetoric on TV, sir. I'm very sorry to say that.
Prime Minister, CGI and LOP. That was the process in the past.
When, sir? In which Congress government? In which Congress government? Tell me
Under
that.
Dr.
Which
Manmohan
Congress
Singh.
government?
Under Dr. Manmohan Singh. 10 years
You
under
are
Dr.
wrong.
Manmohan
I
Singh.
tell your viewers, go and check this. This is absolutely wrong. Manmohan Singh unilaterally, without even the leader of opposition, without a CGI, appointed Chief Election Commissioner. That was the law then. It was the law, sir. You don't even know that.
Okay, Dr. Verma.
I know.
Okay. Let me go to Dr. Verma. Ajit, you made your point.
Exactly against what you are saying.
Ajit,
But anyway.
wait a minute. I have to go to Dr. Verma and Savio. My question to you, Dr. Verma, is that when the EC says that they cannot produce the roll for the deleted names, and when the opposition insists for it, is there a legal way out? Because one, it's a political matter, it's in parliament, it's EC, but the matter has gone to the court also. And EC in its affidavit has said there should be a legal action against the NGO. I have gone through the affidavit. So it's pretty aggressive. They have also sought legal action against the NGO also. So I don't think it's as easy as that.
Actually, Kartikeya, you see, there are two issues that the Indian political parties and politicians, they have to understand. That all political problems cannot be solved through legal route. That is my understanding of politics and democracy in the country after reading and teaching for 70 years politics. There are many issues, and I think that there are certain issues, certain provisions in the constitution which certainly do not mandate that the election commission has to produce the list of deleted people. But as some of the friends were pointing out very rightly, that let there be a transparency. Of course, the law doesn't force you to produce a list of the deleted people. That's fine. But ultimately, we all have a stake in the existence of democracy. The greatest thing that we have to protect is democracy. Let us ensure that in the process of protecting democracy, we do not destroy democracy. The second thing that I have to say is that whatever our differences...
Are you saying that Congress and
ECI,
BJP are destroying democracy?
No, I just don't want them to do that. They are all responsible parties, and that's what the people are looking at, as my friend was pointing out, that all these things, they are gradually keeping the people, wondering whether democracy is of any worth or we are worth of democracy. Gandhiji, his very famous statement is, democracy disciplined and enlightened is the finest thing in the world. So we are neither expressing democracy in those, contexts, neither it's an enlightened, way of protest, nor it is a disciplined way of protest. So if we trust Gandhi, if we love Gandhi, we have to understand that how democracy has to be operationalized. So my saying is that there are certain, if we say rule of law, go by the constitution, then we ourselves have to go by the constitution, to have the patience that this matter has to be settled not through a halla gulla on the roads. I am always against these kind of demonstration and protest, because ultimately you have to talk. 300 people or 3,000 people or 30 people, whatever you may say and you may defend, but ultimately it is a fact that the talk has to be one-to-one. Only one person will, so we were not able to understand what they were saying. So always there has to be a cool, calculated, rational argument in democracy. It is the argument which matters and the argument which must win. It's not the shor sharaba or halla gulla or shouting that will win. So we have to understand that
Dr. Verma, if wishes were horses, then those things would have happened, sir.
Sorry?
If wishes were horses, exactly what you have said would have happened, sir.
I completely appreciate with you, Kartikeya, but tell me how this democracy will go forward. We have to take democracy. Congress has ruled the state for so many years. BJP is ruling now. Maybe some other parties will come next. So every party is good for us. Every party is good for nation, and that democracy gives us a right that today I may support this party, tomorrow at the point of independence everybody was a Congress, everybody was supporting Congress, and then we used to say that there is a one party dominant system in the Congress. Then BJP had 2 MPs, now it's a BJP dominant system emerging. Sometimes later 30-40 years some other dominant system may emerge. So all these things are dynamics of democracy, and we have to understand that we have to give this leverage to the people. You can have the example of Bengal, 33 years.
You said Bengal. You said Bengal, Savio. Savio. Now Mamata says that there will be no SIR in West Bengal. So can there be a position in a country where in certain parts you have the SIR exercises and in certain parts you don't have SIR exercise because the state government says that they don't have the wherewithal to do it?
One of the most interesting fascination about the electoral process is when you actually get into understanding how the electoral roll functions. Now, if you analyze most of these elections, you will realize that there are certain percentages of people that don't vote at all, no matter how much you reach out to them, right? So let's say you take a constituency in Goa that has about 35,000 voters. You will end up with 20,000 voters or 23,000 voters and some 12,000 voters not voting, even though you would have touched their lives. So sometimes you wonder where these voters are. Why are they not exercising their vote?
Absolutely.
They've got their voters' ID. They've got their benefits based on whatever voter ID that they have or any other government-related ID that they have. So why don't they come out to vote? Why don't they come out to exercise their right to vote? There is a growing dependency on nota that people are turning to when they don't like the candidate over there. So these are all indicates that maybe the electoral process, the democratic process of us has a question in the minds of most people, and therefore it is important to ensure that we don't destroy that faith, because the voters' right is the right that
I hope we don't become a nota democracy. We don't become a nota democracy. Absolutely.
And you might have that happening.
I think on this note, I need to conclude and thank you all of you for joining the show, because I think my take is that India should not become a nota democracy, because India is a vibrant democracy and I think there has to be culture, some sort of political reconciliation. Thank you all of you, because this was on point number 1. In my second on point, we will look at Pakistan Army Chief's empty threat against India. Empty threats against India. Because on his second visit to United States in 2 months, Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir has again resorted to making tall claims and empty threats against India. Pakistan Army Chief has openly warned of a nuclear war from American soil. Munir also threatened to destroy any infrastructure that India builds on the Indus water channels, which could impede water flow to Pakistan, saying his country has no dearth of missiles. So let me tell you what Munir's empty threats are. The first empty threat of Munir is that Pakistan will wait for India to build a dam, and when it does, we will destroy it with 10 missiles. Pakistan has no shortage of missiles. Indus River is not India's family property. Raking up Indus water treaty issue, Munir slammed India and claimed that the suspension of the treaty could place 250 million people at risk of starvation. Following the Pahalgam terror attack, India has put the year-old treaty in abeyance. Now, on this issue, I am joined by Commodore Sri Uday Bhaskar, Director of Society for Policy Studies and former Director of IDSA. Sir, this has come in wake of his nuclear threat, comparing India as a Ferrari with the park dumper that the Pakistan is. But the bottom line is, sir, he says in America, and we will play out the stills where he is very cozy with the American military leadership, we will blow the dams. My question to you, sir, is, did we miss anything in last 6 months when it came to Munir?
I think India has got a reasonably accurate assessment about the current Pakistani leadership represented by Field Marshal Munir, and the fact that he has been raising the ante in terms of his rhetoric about trying to intimidate India. We saw this before Op Sindoor. We saw it after Op Sindoor. And now in the United States, he is rattling the nuclear saber. This is not the first time that Pakistan has engaged in this kind of shrill anti-India threats being posed from another, being articulated from another country, particularly the United